Hello, my favourite sleepyheads. It's Steph here, and you've made it to bedtime with the Sleepytime Crew. Tonight's story is one for anyone who's ever had a day that felt a bit off or wobbly or a bit sideways or a bit upside down. You know, one of those days. Some may call it the worst day ever. But don't worry, you're not alone. And our pal Lenny the Llama knows exactly how that feels. So snuggle in, let your body get comfy, let your arms and legs feel like floppy spaghetti. Take a big, gentle breath in and a slow, sleepy breath out. And let's head to the hills of Bumble Bush. Lenny the Llama lived in a cozy little valley at the bottom of Bumble Bush Hill. He was usually as cool as a cucumber. He had curly, snow-white fur, socks that never matched, and a soft spot for raspberry and peanut butter smoothies. The jury's still out on that one.
Yeah.
But today, things just didn't feel right. First, Kevin, the silly rooster next door, decided to practice his singing at 4 a.m. Apparently, he's practicing so he can go on the next season of Bumblebush Idol. There were no regular cock-a-doodle-doos. Oh, no, no, no. Kevin really fancied himself as a pop star. A cock-a-doodle, yeah! Cock-a-doodle, baby. Oh, it was a lot, especially at that time of the morning. Lenny pulled the pillow over his ears and groaned. Oh, please let this be a bad dream, he muttered. After breakfast, he was brushing his teeth and he got toothpaste all over his school jumper.
No.
And when he looked in the mirror, he realised that he'd put his socks on his ears. And instead of raspberry and peanut butter, his smoothie tasted like vegetables.
Yeah.
And not the fancy vegetables either. Just soggy, squishy, disgusting vegetables. By the time Lenny got out the door, he was just in time to watch the school bus drive away down the street. So off he trotted on the long walk to school. Halfway there, he stepped in something suspiciously squishy and stinky.
Yeah.
At that very moment, he whispered to himself, "My day is doomed." At school, things did not improve either. Lenny had show and tell first thing, and he'd forgotten his special glitter jar experiment that he wanted to share with his class. He tried to explain it to his classmates, but nobody was really listening or paying him any attention. The kid before him had shown everyone a picture of their cat dressed up as a burrito, and they stole the spotlight. Then came sport class. Lenny's legs were feeling wibbly and wobbly and weird. And when they did the obstacle course, he tripped over a hula hoop of all things and did cartwheels, landing in the most unelegant manner in the middle of the sandpit. He was covered in wet sand and somehow ended up with a big orange cone on his head. The class all laughed, the class all giggled, and they whispered quietly. Lenny's ears drooped and his heart dropped. Could this day get any worse? At lunch, his best friend, Una the unicorn, just wanted to sit quietly and read her book. But Lenny felt too fizzy and fuzzy and full of funny feelings in his body to try and sit still. "I don't want to read," he snapped. "I want to run, I want to jump, and I want to yell and scream at the sky." Una raised an eyebrow. "Okay then, Lenny." And Lenny stomped off, tail twitching, grumbling something about it being the worst day ever. Lenny flopped under the old gum tree by the big oval. He curled into a llama ball and muttered to himself, "This is the worst day ever." He wanted to cry, but the tears were stuck somewhere in his chest like a lump made of concrete and Nan's flavourless, revolting mashed potato. And that's when he heard the squeaky creak of a bench being sat on right next to him. He looked over. It was Doris the Donkey. Doris was the part-time bus driver and full-time wise friend of the schoolyard. She wore the most fabulous glitter glasses. She had 3 pens tucked behind each ear and always smelt a bit like cinnamon scrolls and eucalyptus. Actually, come to think of it, that's a weird combination. Anyways, rough day, hey Len, she asked. He nodded. "Everything's gone wrong from the minute I got woken up this morning. I think I want to move to the moon." Doris nodded slowly. "Wowzers, that does sound like a tough day, Len. Let me tell you about my worst day ever. It might make you feel a little bit better. I managed to spill stinky cauliflower soup on my boss. I got my tail caught in the fax machine and then photocopied my butt. And then I sneezed the brightest green snot all over a parent. And that was all before 9 a.m. Lenny blinked. "Really?" "Oh, absolutely," she chuckled. "That's when I learned the rewind and reframe game." Lenny tilted his fluffy head. "The what?" Doris leaned in and whispered like it was a top secret mission. "The rewind and reframe game. You rewind the day in your mind, but instead of just remembering the bad bits, this time you purposely look for tiny things that weren't so bad. Not perfect, not magical, just okay, or slightly silly, or maybe even just a little bit funny." Lenny squinted. "Geez, Doris, that sounds impossible after my day." "Come on, Len, let's try it," Doris said. "Let's rewind your day. Now close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and let's go back to this morning." Lenny closed his eyes. "Well," he said slowly, "the noise that came out of Kevin the rooster was just awful, but..." My brother laughed so hard that he fell off the bed. "There you go," Doris grinned. "It's a tiny bit good." "And my smoothie tasted like rotten veggies," Lenny added, "but at least I didn't have to share it." "See, that's another good one." "I stepped in something gross," he muttered. Okay, maybe skip that part," Doris said, wrinkling her nose. "But what about lunch?" "Well, Una gave me half of her delicious crunchy carrot sticks, and I do love the crunchy ones." Lenny paused. Hey, maybe it wasn't the worst day ever. Maybe it was just a messy one. Doris leaned back, nodding. "Exactly, Len. Remember, feelings aren't facts, my friend. Some days feel big and yuck, but they always come to an end. and then you get to try again tomorrow. Later that evening, Lenny curled up in his bed. He made a silly drawing in his feelings journal called A Mostly Rubbish Day That Still Had Some Tiny Good Bits. He even drew Kevin the rooster in the coolest pair of cowboy boots and sunglasses. And at that moment, Lenny felt all the leftover grumbles and grumbles slowly float out of his body. He yawned, a big, loud yawn, and let his belly rise and fall gently. And he whispered to himself, "Today may have been a bit wobbly, but I am proud of myself because I made it through." And you, my loves, you made it through your day too. Even if parts of it felt big, even if parts of it felt uncomfortable or embarrassing, even if bits felt messy or yuck, there's always something fun and small and good from your day to carry with you into your magical dreamland. So let's finish with Lenny's bedtime breathing. Breathe in like you're sniffing the best raspberry peanut butter smoothie ever. And breathe out like you're blowing out a big llama sigh. One more time. We're breathing in and out. Night-night and sleep well, my little loves. You really tried your best today. And remember, that's more than enough.